Good evening, everybody. Let's get the right mouse. I was mucking about with Media Player. There's no sound files on this computer, but I was mucking about with Media Player nonetheless. But let's do what we came here for. Let's do some Discworld and some jazz. Smooth sounds of jazz. Get the right mouse. Gonna load a game. Session 8. Let's go. Alright. What were we trying to do? Currently, it seems to be that we want to get into the, or get information from, I just realised I haven't put my key light on. Get information from the Merchants Guild with a back and forth with Death, who's at the Von Uberwald mansion. Maybe some people are going to show up in Cafe Ankh who we can talk to. But not right now. Like, you know, he doesn't want to hide in the wine barrels unless he's sure that it's safe. Don't know how it's going to be certain to be safe.
Turning into a wolf. I was...
Yeah, you won't do it around here either, will you? I mean, aside from going around and talking to everyone again, snip into our office just in case. You never know when shit's gonna happen in the office.
Sapient pearwood comes... Unfortunate. It's a nice... I could...
Right. Nothing new on the desk. So chat with Mankin. We avoided that before.
My usual, please. Luton, you're... What? Is my tie not done up straight? Is there an unfortunate mark on my nose? I heard you were dead. Perhaps I am. Get me a stiff drink. How about a whiskey? Don't you want something with it? All right, put another whiskey in. Drinking like that'll kill you. I'm dead already. You didn't come back here to drink, did you?
No, we didn't, Mankin. Okay. So that's interesting. He knows we're dead.
How's business been? Poor. Sapphire's missed several days. I don't think she's coming back. You could be right. So this is the small talk to win me over before you start grilling me again, is it? You may be onto something there. I hope you know you're not making any friends here.
Hey, Ray. Right. Let's have a good go through all the stuff. Hello again, Rick. We've asked him this before, but I'm sure.
I thought it best not to bring up... I'd bring up my dinner as well. Just remembering it was a weight loss plan.
Fair enough. Okay. We got nothing to confirm, okay? The Von Uberwalds. Carlotta is a werewolf.
Do you know anything about Reagan's murder? No. Don't even know who he is. I couldn't exactly...
Fine.
What do you know about the goddess Errata? If you asked fewer questions, maybe you'd get more answers. I read that somewhere.
Nice. Okay. Sapphire, we got nothing, and the sword, we got that. So let's just...
Do you know a troll by the name of Jasper Horst? I know a lot of people. That doesn't mean I want to talk about them with you.
Fair enough.
Do you know anything about some kind of beast stalking the streets? Leave me alone, Luton.
Right, let's get to the meat of it. The more murders, this is where he should give us some good beefy stuff.
You wouldn't happen to have heard anything about the murder of one of the patrician's clerks, would you? No one outside of the palace knows anything. Except the commander of the watch. I heard that the patrician has asked Commander Vimes to come and speak to him about it sometime soon. Hadn't he already gone to see him? Hey, what do I know? I'm just a bartender with big ears. Perhaps he just wants an update on the case. Whatever.
Is that a hint for us? I'm not sure.
Apparently one of the wizards up at Unseen University got themselves killed. That's right. The reader of esoteric accounting or something. Esoteric occultism, yeah. How did you know that? I was speaking to Mrs. Foames earlier. Mrs. Foames? She's the head chambermaid up at the new hall. One of the halls of residence? Yeah, the big one that runs off from the huge library. What did she have to say? Just that this wizard had died in mysterious circumstances. Although she sounded like mysterious circumstances are pretty normal up there. It'd be a nice change if someone died in unmysterious circumstances for a change. Can't be easy working at the university. You couldn't pay me enough to make me work there. Oh no? No amount of money would make you work there? Well, obviously not a huge amount. For enough money I'd do anything. Anything? Well, not involving fish, broccoli, or vinegar.
That's a pretty good combo of things not to do for any... I would do anything for love, but I won't do fish, broccoli, or vinegar.
I hear a prominent merchant has been killed. Heard anything about it? All I heard was that someone in the Merchants Guild got killed. That's all I know.
Did that just add the Merchants Guild onto me map again? Fine. Miscellaneous.
The Jew... I didn't... This was...
Right, fine. And we asked about Errata.
What do you know about a dwarf named Al-Khali? I know a lot of people. That doesn't mean I want to talk about them with you. What do you know about a woman named Carlotta? I know a lot of people. That doesn't mean I want to talk about them with you.
I think we've got everything we were going to get out of Mankin. Is there anything in our inventory?
Do you recognize this moss? If you asked fewer questions, maybe you'd get more answers.
Keep forgetting I got the moss. Who can I ask about moss? Who might be good with moss? Trolls?
See you around. Yeah, whatever.
We've done a lot of sniffing around. Horst isn't in. The rooftops we've been to. Saturnalia is closed. The yard we've been to. Death is at Vulnerable Mansion, I think. Mausoleum's just going to be like, oh, put Disc 1 back in. Rodan's workshop's empty. The Merchant's Guild's empty. Temple Small Gods we've been into. The cemetery. Cafe Unk. We can talk to these lads again.
I'm back. I've got a few more questions.
I don't think they might
Make it fast.
I'm sure we tried them a bit, but, you know.
So, you're members of the illustrious Palace Guards, are you?
Illustrious. Do you know what it means to be a palace guard? We're arrow fodder. If anyone with half-decent skills breaks into the palace, you'll be picking our limbs out of the tapestries.
So why do you do it?
It beats being in the city watch.
And the uniforms are much nicer, too. You used to be in the City Watch, didn't you?
You can tell that from my accent.
Would I lie to you?
Yeah, we've done all these bits with them before, haven't we? I think we made progress yesterday. I think so. I mean, you know, to a degree.
I hear one of the clerks got murdered.
Ask questions like that and we might have to arrest you.
On what grounds?
Oh, on the palace grounds, obviously.
Maybe we've asked them this.
Do you know anything about the murder of the reader of esoteric occultism?
We don't know nothing about any murders, all right?
Have you heard about the recent murder of a rich merchant?
We don't know.
Right, fine. These two chumps aren't any help. But what I was thinking might be a slight bit of help. Very slight. Need to identify the moss. And I'm just wondering if either of these two smart lads here might be able to help me with the moss, what I picked up.
Do you recognize this moss?
Yes, you can use it if you like.
You didn't listen to a word I just said, did you?
Be my guest.
I didn't want to disturb.
Fine. Not sure what's going on with the moss. So, I mean, did we make progress yesterday? I mean, we learned a lot of things. So, I'm stumped on how to Scooby-Doo our way around the Merchants Guild. Like, the only thing really was that we learned that the murderer was male. We've sniffed around everywhere we're allowed to sniff around, as best I could tell. We've learnt about the housekeepers in the university, but nothing like that's made any jazz notes. To be honest, it was getting this way towards the end of stream yesterday that maybe we might need a CRA helpline.
The empty barrels at the foot of the... As far as I could tell, the barrels were just like the...
Right, and we're not... There's the promise that someone was going to pick up the some wine for the Patrician's Palace, and that kind of like, oh, I'd hide into them if I knew I was safe. And it's just like, well, how do we make it safe? I don't know how to make it safe. We've looked at everything at the Magdalen Bridge, haven't we? There's the River Ankh. We've done some sniffing. Pretty sure there's the magenta again. And the overwhelming sound. I've not been into the palace kitchen because I don't know a way to get into the palace kitchen. I mean, I can't get past these two lads. And I'm not sure how one would make it safe. Like this whole thing about getting into the wine barrels with the, you know, use the crowbar to get into the wine barrels. And he says...
Okay, I suppose I could crack open a barrel, empty out the wine, hide inside, and wait for someone to carry me into the palace. But I'd need to be a lot more confident that I wasn't going to get caught.
And how do we get confident about not getting caught? So, I haven't been to the palace kitchen. I can't get into the palace. I mean, other than... I mean, I can get into the palace. You know, I've got this grappling iron, which has been very handy. And I can go...
It always looked much...
through here, but then I don't think there's any way back to the old cell, is there? Like, because this is, you know, we came in through that cell, and then we left via the gaping hole. Well, no, actually, we crawled back in, didn't we? We met Leonard, we looked out the window, but then we crawled back in. But
There was nothing useful. Well, nothing useful.
And there's no way back there now. Like these are the only. This is the only room. Yeah, maybe the guards repaired the hole. But there's no going back to a cell that we were previously locked in. This is the only in the palace I can really get at the moment.
The gaping hole had been created by Malachite to escape from the palace. Leonard liked to think of it as a window.
And we got a gaping hole. These two idiots don't want to talk about anything. Pretty sure covered everything on the pixel hunt. So yeah, I can get into the Patrician's Palace, but I can't get past them guards. And the dwarf is following us. I mean, aside from trying to smash up these barrels.
These barrels had already been opened. The empty barrels at the foot of the palace wall looked like... As far as I could...
Like, there doesn't seem to be a way for us to perhaps repair and pick up these barrels, then go up and go, oh, delivery! So that's not happening. This is a tough game. Everything's been sensible enough so far. It's just tough. There's nothing happening here.
Saturnale.
They're shut. That's where we died. We've done wolf form here. No.
Al-Khali was still following me.
We're being followed. No, just you, Luton. We got the magenta, and we got the light green stench. Don't think that, and there's a dark green blob.
The green scent smelled like vegetation.
Oh, that was the moss we
The
picked
scent was...
up. That was the... I was like, where did we get the moss? The moss was here. You know, we did some new questioning there with Mankin. In the Octarine Parrots. We got some stuff out of Nobby. We haven't got any new locations. I think the jazz was literally for the Merchants Guild. Have we found any bandages? No, we haven't. Not even sure where we'd find them. There's Rodan's workshop, which is very quiet. Ah, well, now we've got some bandages.
They looked like ordinary bandages, but at some point they'd been soaked in plaster. What they were doing in Rodan's workshop was anyone's guess.
Well, now we've got some bandages. I don't know what we'd want to do with them.
I'd found the plaster-encrusted bandages on the floor of Rodan's workshop. Apart from the fact that they'd been soaked in plaster and left to dry, there didn't seem to be anything unusual about them.
Right, but they're there for us to pick up. The daft place to put them. Okay, what might we want to do with bandages? Plaster. Soaked bandages, so... Plaster soaked bandages. I mean, okay, so we picked up a thing, but it's not inspiring, is it? We could take a cast out of something. But seems a bit weird. What can we take a cast out of? I have tried using the receipt with the barrels in the cellar. The receipts in the cellar, I don't think you pick up. It's just
I routed carefully through the receipts, and the only recent purchaser was the patrician. It seems he'd bought a number of barrels of fine wine to take to the palace. I guess the golem I'd seen at the cafe was owned by Lord Veterinary. The palace was due to buy some more wine. As far as I could tell, they would be collecting it sometime soon.
So there you go. I don't actually pick up the receipts. So I can't use the receipt.
Just like Samael.
It's just a thing that's on there. You know, we got the envelope, we got the bandages. Probably using a clue on a thing. Yeah, but what? Like, alright, so I've got some bandages.
Under different circumstances, for the time being.
Okay, business version, pleasure later. You do the Hobbit thing. Spoiler. So I do get in the wine barrel. Fine. But how to trigger it? Well, yeah, there's the problem. Like, he needs to feel safe. This is what I don't get. Because, like, you know, if we try a good old...
Okay, I suppose I could crack open a barrel,
Yes.
empty out the wine,
Yes.
hide inside, and wait for someone to carry me into the palace. But I'd need to be a lot more confident that I wasn't going to get caught.
And so that's... So if we're going to do the Hobbit thing, how do we get confident that we won't get caught? And I don't see what there is of, like, use a clue on a thing. I mean, aside from...
The receipts shed no light on the murder of the patrician's clerk.
Right, now, see, so... Well, I suppose we could try a few names on here.
I was worried that if I started wasting too much time with the receipts, I might become an accountant.
Fine. Are we going to at least...
I was worried.
No. Fine. I'm not sure. Clark's murdering barrels? I mean, that's a fucking stretch if it is.
Did the murder of the patrician's clerk have anything to do with the wine barrels?
No, it didn't.
Under different for the...
It's like, we'd slip in the barrels if we thought it would be safe, or what might make it safe. How could we not get caught? With all the things we know. what's stopping us from getting into a wine barrel?
I didn't really need a wine barrel. Most of the wine barrels.
Yeah, I'm not sure what else Samael's got to say.
Samael, Mr. Luton. Have those people from the palace been here to collect the wine yet?
Not yet.
Not yet. Not going to tell us about the schedule or anything.
What do you know about the goddess Errata? I wouldn't know anything about that, Mr. Luton.
I'm not sure Samael's any good.
My old friend, the bar. I was tempted to order a drink, but I was working.
And nobody's here to talk to. See if anyone's left anything around, because that looks like something, but it's obviously not. How many times have I been to the junk barrels here? There's just barrels. 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 Wall. 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 Wall and barrels. We can look at the barrels.
The empty barrels at the foot of the palace wall looked like they used to have wine in them. As far as I could tell, the barrels were just like the ones in the wine cellar of the Café Ankh, although these ones were empty.
That's it. That's all we've got. And I don't know. I've tried the crowbar on them.
These barrels had already been opened.
Our trusty crowbar. Clue in the barrels.
Did the murder of the patrician's clerk have anything to do with the wine barrels?
That's it. That's all he's asking for. I don't particularly like the let's go through combining things in the notebook with the fucking environment bits. Particularly when they're few and far between. Wall, barrels, Luton, wolf, magenta, red, the lawn green cloud.
The garbage was giving off a
Oh, that was the garbage. Red traces.
One of the empty barrels had a faint magenta trace to it.
One of the empty barrels had that trace. That's how the killer got in.
The empty barrels at...
Have I ID'd all the scents? No, I haven't. We've still got, like...
The maroon scent reminded me of iron somehow. The dark cyan scent was strong and earthy, with a hint of something potent about it.
Right, I am.
The empty barrels were fairly useless, all in all.
Well, that's no good.
The wall had...
Try the killer scent on the lingering scent. Okay. The thing is, though, is that they're magenta traces, so...
Definitely the same scent as my killer, which meant whoever it was made it into the palace concealed in a wine barrel. Why did that bring to mind the phrase, "You wait, time passes," and Thorin sits down and starts singing about gold?
Fine, fuck you, game, I guess. Right, now will we be trusting? Will we be like, well, the killer did it? Will that be enough? It was enough.
I had a long wait, but it paid off.
Yeah, it's Hobbiton time. I'm with Ray, so now he knows it's possible, then he'll do it. Bobbins, fuck off. That's, yeah. Like, there is a logic to it. I mean, the whole thing is like, I don't know if I'll get caught. And so, therefore, discovering that, well, the killer didn't get caught. Oh, thanks, Nightbot. You're right. We've actually done something. So, also... Right, anyway. Here we are in... something.
The wine barrels had allowed me to break into the palace. It didn't speak too highly of the palace's security, but I wasn't complaining. There really wasn't anything useful.
There wasn't now, but what I can do is smell things. We have traces of magenta.
My killer had definitely been here. The scent of red wine wasn't as strong as in the cellar, but it was still noticeable.
Right, so we've got just the killer and the wine, by the looks of it.
It was the same scent as my killer's.
Yeah, alright. How it be possible to find out the killer getting that way is fine. To give you a nudge to do it if you're stuck. Making it prerequisite, yes. Making it prerequisite is annoying. It's just like you're not allowed to have this idea until the game says you can have this idea.
The storeroom was filled with boxes of food and supplies. I guess even the patrician had to eat every now and then.
I've got a recipe from the patrician. I picked up the Discworld cookbook. I think it's still kicking around.
I couldn't think of any...
Yeah, I can think of something you should do with boxes. Crowbar them open!
I really didn't want to break open the boxes.
Fine. Fine. Right. Door. An exit. No, looting.
I guess they didn't have an open door policy.
Right, so nothing smelly around here, huh?
Locked. The door was locked. I thought I could make out voices, but I couldn't hear what they were saying.
Well, I guess there's only one way to go, which is round the corner. Trail of Navy scent.
The only noticeable scent in the hallway was someone's trail, which led to the double doors.
Navy. I think haven't I got...
I was sure it was the same scent.
I can't remember where I picked up that one, though. Oh, that might be vines, right?
The double doors were more stately than the others leading from the hall. I reckoned that it led to the oblong office, the patrician's personal sanctum.
Do we have better hearing as a wolf? We might do.
I guess they didn't have an... The door was locked. I thought I could make out voices, but I couldn't hear what they were saying.
Right, okay. So let's...
I could hear what I could only assume was some of the patrician's clerks talking.
Ah.
I do wish people would bear in mind how much paperwork everything is for us.
I know just what you mean. Have you seen file LEW-006/EXW? First, he steals a crowbar.
And that's a T-1712 form straight away.
Exactly.
No respect for the patricians, spies and clerks. That's the trouble with this city.
Oh, the crowbar's only the start, believe me. I've got 2 counts of murder.
Ha! That's an FO86B just to get the list of forms you need.
Tell me about it. And as if that wasn't enough, he's only gone and died.
Ah, not another D2317E. I hate those.
Worse. A D66/004B.
Another murder? Oh, I haven't finished the paperwork from Cypher's death yet.
Still, I have to look on the bright side.
What's that then?
At least he hasn't come back from the grave.
Oh, I know what you mean. Those undead citizenship forms are the worst.
No consideration. That's the trouble. No consideration of us hard-working bureaucrats.
The clerks soon returned to their paperwork.
Right, there we go.
As a wolf, my hearing was dramatically improved. I could recognize one of the voices as Commander Vimes, and the other voice had the calculating tones of Lord Vetinari, the patrician of Ankh-Morpork.
Are you any closer to a solution for our mutual problem?
No, sir. I've been occupied.
Indeed. And what could occupy you?
There was a string of copycat killings. I've been trying to solve them.
And have you?
No. My lead suspect was killed.
That is very unfortunate.
It certainly was for Luton.
So there has been no progress in determining who killed Cypher.
Not as such.
I had been given to understand that this was precisely the situation you were well equipped to handle.
I will solve this case, sir. You can count on me.
Do you recall what I said the city reminds me of?
You said it reminds you of a clock, sir.
Indeed. Big wheels and little wheels, all turning at different speeds to keep the machine working. That, after all, is the most important thing. The machine keeps going.
You've told me this before.
Do you know why it keeps working?
Because you want it to keep working?
I'm flattered that you think I have such importance. But no, it keeps running because the people believe it will keep running. Faith is a powerful force.
There is a point to this, sir?
I always have a point. Sometimes it's sharper than others.
I'm sorry. Continue.
One of my clerks has been found face down in a vat of wine, and that makes it appear as if the administration has lost control.
And the administration is me, right?
We are all the administration. You do the work, and I take both the credit and the blame. Provided I do not take the blame, I am content. I trust I make myself clear.
Perfectly.
Suddenly, I could smell blood.
A note.
It filled up my senses like a night in a forest.
To fill up my
Except a night in a forest
senses.
didn't make me want to tear someone's throat out. I didn't know whether the guard had cut himself or if I was just developing a healthy bloodlust, like any young werewolf. but I couldn't control myself. The next thing I knew, I was in my office. I had no idea how I got there, how I got my coat out of the palace, or where I'd got a traffic cone from. It had been that sort of night. I was sitting at my desk, thinking over the case, when there was a knock at the door.
I understand you've been a busy boy, Luton.
It's a busy life when you're a private investigator. Plus, you get to see interesting foreign places and learn a trade.
There was a commotion at the palace last night. Perhaps you know about it?
What goes on at the palace has nothing to do with me.
Indeed it is not. And if, for some reason, you did take an interest in the palace, I'm sure you would not be so foolish as to be caught breaking into the palace.
That would be dull.
Of course not. Think I'm suicidal?
Strange you should say that. I heard you'd been killed.
I expect you hear a lot of things that aren't true. I bet someone has to explain them to you using very small words.
The thing is, the intruder at the palace appears to have been a werewolf.
There's a lot of that around this time of year, I understand. Must be the moon.
I paid my respects to your grave.
Oh, that was nice of you.
It was empty.
Oh, you know how it is. I get claustrophobic in narrow spaces.
So do werewolves, perhaps?
I wouldn't know about that.
Remember when I said how disappointed I was that I couldn't take you out for free?
Oh, that was a very touching sentiment.
Well, Lord Vetinari has generously offered to pay for the inhumation of last night's intruder.
He has a big heart.
It's a shame no one can find it.
Was there a point to your visit?
I was just passing through. Thought you might benefit from my advice.
How generous of you.
Well, I'll be on my way.
The door's behind you. I can explain how to use it if you want.
Watch your steps, Luton. I will be.
Well, let's have a good sniff.
There was a faint haze of purple in the room. Around the door was a strong, dark cyan odor with an earthy overtone.
Right, so we've had that before.
The scent by the door was the same as the one in Sapphire's dressing room. It was definitely Sapphire's.
All right, okay. Why have we not got... Oh, we got maroon traces.
The maroon scent wasn't recent. It suggested the tangy red of iron. Well, of course it was the same scent.
Obviously, I picked it up from you. Now, why don't I have a scent for... The teal cloud is knobby.
The cloud of teal-colored scent was the smell of tobacco and petty theft.
Like
Definitely
I said, knobby.
nobbies.
The maroon
The
traces...
maroon scent wasn't recent. It suggested...
And then we got the
There
purple
was
haze.
a faint...
Right. Is it the purple of the serial killer?
The purple scent was quite distinctive. I'd know it if I smelled it again.
Okay. Fine, so we don't have... I don't know much to go on there. Right, let's put a save in, though. Let's put a save in. And we got new notes. We've got a new note, so I guess we go round asking everybody about the new thing that we learned. A new note. What is the Greasy Chip Butty song? Because I remember the song that I was saying, you fill up my senses like a ba-ba-ba-ba-ba. Whatever the words are. It was is a Christian song. It's about God. I went to Catholic school. We sang it a lot. I don't know. Of course, though, the British football fan would go, hey, remember that thing we used to sing in church? Well, I've just changed the lyrics to talk about our manager and midfielder. But Sheffield United fans saying that's a rewrite of that, yeah. Don't miss living near the stadium, that is fair. Right, you used to take the same train that went to the stadium and go home from the city. The only reason you ever pay attention to footy news was to avoid the crowds. That's fair. I always forget to do that. The amount of times I go back to Swansea, go see my parents, and then be like, alright, cool, I'm going to go now, and I'm going to go see some of my other friends in Swansea, and go for my parents, and go, alright, well, they live in Morriston Way, and like there's some just easy bypass roads from Morriston down to town, so I'll just take them, forgetting that it goes past the stadium, and I always mistime it, so always end up hitting stadium traffic, and fucking just people who will just run across the road with their kids across a dual carriageway, and it's like you're not teaching your kids good roadside sensibilities. Also, like, maybe they should put a fucking footbridge or like proper controlled crossing. Footbridge would probably be most sensible. Hello,
Just
Nobby.
thought we could have a little chat.
You got something new to talk about?
All right then, make it quick.
We know anything?
I found out about that Clark cipher. He was drowned in a vat of wine.
If you say so. Lucky for some, eh?
Right, that's all we're getting out of Nobby, is it?
What do you know about the goddess Errata?
Give me a break, Luton. I don't know everything.
Yeah, no, you don't, do you, Nobby? All right, fine, goodbye.
I guess I'll see.
Right. Has anyone... Why is nobody showing up in Cafe Ankh? That's probably going to be one of the latter things that's going to happen, right? Do we really need to go down here again? Right. I mean, something we haven't done is... No, Luton. Wolf. Is to just...
There was no mistaking it. Even against the reek of the Ankh, it was the scent of my killer.
Let's just make sure that we've cross-referenced all the scents. Because some things make no. Right, let's...
Who would say?
Let's see Carlotta first.
I'd like to see Carlotta. Is she home?
I will go and announce your presence, and she will tell me if she is.
You can't keep yourself away from me, can you, Luton?
I just wanted to ask some more questions.
What's new?
Do you know anything about Cypher's murder?
No, I don't.
Fine. Go ask Death then.
I'll be in touch.
I'll be waiting.
Who would say?
Can I see the Count?
I am not in a position to know how good your vision is, but you may see the Count, which I believe is what Sir actually meant in Sir's untutored way.
Still here, I see.
In a sense.
Do you know anything about Cypher's murder?
I already told you that I cannot discuss the details of my work with you.
And like, we're gonna Scooby-Doo them about...
Where did the merchant get killed?
I'm not saying anything and you can't make me.
Perhaps if I could get some information out of the gatekeeper at the Merchant's Guild, I might stand a chance of getting something out of Death.
Okay.
Well, goodbye. I'm sure we'll meet again.
Oh, you can be certain of it.
You got your malaria prevention meds, good thing. Are you in need of them? Right, we gotta Scooby-Doo this fucker somehow. Well, we've learned some new things.
Mind if I ask some more questions?
As long as they're not about the incident.
The incident.
Be my guest.
Do you know anything about Cypher's murder?
I can't help you there.
No, you can't. You never can help me.
What do you know about the goddess Errata?
I don't know anything about that.
How do we Scooby-Doo this person?
What do you know about a dwarf named Al-Kali?
Well, no one I know.
Archaeologist Guild is off limits to me at the moment.
There's talk of a bestial attacker loose in Ankh-Morpork. I was wondering if it might have killed that merchant.
Wonder away. But I'm not discussing the incident with you.
Damn.
Like, I don't know how we Scooby-Doo him. Yeah, the Archaeologist Guild was somewhere around here, and it's now gone. So we don't have access to that. We seem to be done with the Archaeologist Guild. How do we Scooby-Doo more information out? What's the bandages got to do with anything? Alright, aside from now just, you know, doing a right, let's bring you out more. I'm going, ooh, serial killer. Are you?
I could tell that my killer had been here.
This is where we picked up the Navy, I think.
I knew it was the same scent. That's where I got it from.
Yeah, because that's Vimes, isn't it? The navy blue is going to be Vimes. The teal is Nobby. The dark brown was Malachite, and then the magenta is our killer. Exactly the sort of things we would expect around here. We can't talk to the gargoyle anymore, as we've discussed. Yeah, we talked to Nobby. No, but we did chat with Nobby. We had a chat with Nobby. Let's try Mankin again.
Is this a good time for a friendly chat? Given that there's never a good time for a friendly chat, I guess it's as good as any.
I mean, we got something new.
I decided not to bore Mankin with the details of the murders.
Boo!
It was probably bad enough to have had one in his establishment without me going on about it, tempting though it was to watch the little rats squirm.
Do you know when the statue of the worship is all? I have no idea.
See you around? Yeah, whatever.
I mean... Right, hey, remember this place? Which, if we smell it, we've got the threat of magenta, the navy blue, the apple, which I think is probably... Strong hint with a nudge inside of teal is definitely going to be Nobby.
My killer had been here, but were they responsible for Mundy's murder?
Well, I mean, they're a killer. The navy blue would be Vimes. It's a good point. We've got bandages. We've got new props as well.
Is this a good time, given that the...
This isn't like the, you know, the biggest prop-heavy game, is it? That's why I always forget about. Oh yeah, props.
Do these mean anything to you? Bandages? They seem to have plaster caked into them. No, I don't know anything about that. Yes, you do. You are the most useless liar I've ever met. It's nothing to do with me. That's a matter for the watch. The watch? They're only bandages. That's all I'm saying on the matter. I don't want no trouble. And they are trouble.
Alright, well, let's go and ask Nobby about the bandages then. Cheers, Mankin. That might actually have been helpful.
Yeah, whatever.
Mankin and game in helpful.
Just thought we could have... Oh, make it quick.
Alright, Nobby. What about bandages?
Do these mean anything to you? Well, it could be the work of a plaster surgeon. A plaster surgeon? Yeah, they're cosmetic surgeons for trolls. Some troll's on the run, wants to change his face. Well, he goes to a plaster surgeon. The Watch would like to get their hands on any plaster surgeons working in Ankh-Morpork, I can tell you. Don't you want to know where I got them? They're just some plaster-soaked bandages. Why would I be interested? Nobby, do you ever actually do any detective work? Well, I'm only a corporal. I'm beginning to understand how detritus got to be sergeant.
Right. A plaster surgeon, huh? That's not giving us any new... Oh, we can try asking about the envelope. The envelopes just felt such like a weird dead end.
I found this envelope, and I think it might be important. Only it's empty. It's empty. Why would anyone put an empty envelope in a safe place? Maybe they were bluffing. What do you mean? Could have been a blackmailer's envelope. An empty blackmail envelope? Well, this is just an idea, but if someone thought you knew something and you convinced them it was in the envelope, you could use it to bluff. Nobby. It's a stupid idea, isn't it? Forget I mentioned it. No, it's a good idea. I just can't believe you thought of it. Hey, I'm not as dumb as I look. You could only be as dumb as you look, Nobby, if you were a very good actor.
I'm not sure if that's an insult or not. Okay. Are we insulting his intelligence or his looks? I can't tell. So, we've got some interesting information, but it's not made jazz notes. both, probably. And it's kind of the frustration a bit of the game in that this isn't a prop-heavy game. It seems to be more dialogue than anything else. But, okay. So, now what?
Who would say?
So the envelope was Reagan's.
I am not in a position.
Still here.
In a sense.
Props.
Neither the Count nor Death.
No, obviously not. I'm sure I did wolf form in the workshop.
Do these bandages mean anything to you?
I cannot help you with that.
Fine. I did wolf in the workshop. I'll do an. You know what I'll do though? We'll do another wolf in the corner though. Because I think I did a wolf here, but did I do a wolf back here? Because obviously I missed the bandages.
The place where malachite had been perched smelled of a deep, earthy brown. There was a blue mist around the statue Roden had been working on.
I think that's all we get. Deep brown. The blue mist. And that's it. So the blue mist appears to be Rodan. I'm sure I picked that up as well. It's navy. Yeah, the blue mist is Rodan. The brown that we've identified as malachite. It's the only smells that appear to be around here. Deep brown. So that's a bit of wolf form in the workshop. That's me in the workshop. That's me in the wolf form, losing my religion. Who is the statue of? Fucking hell, Luton.
All I knew about the statue was that it was a work in progress. I didn't have any...
That's going to be a Monty Python gag, right? Had an annoying chat with Malaclips, but you know we got some new things. I need your help. You know, we've got things to show him.
What do these bandages mean to you?
It looks like a jelly baby in Mummy's burial wrap.
And the plaster?
Perhaps he's been decorating.
Any reason you can think of why a person would keep an empty envelope safe?
Just because it looks empty doesn't mean it is. There could be a hyperspatial vortex in there, a link to some trans-dimensional cache.
Nope, I'm pretty sure it's just an empty envelope.
Yeah, what about the moss? Drugs?
Do you recognize this moss?
Is it Gerald?
Gerald?
My pet lichen?
No, I don't think so.
It could be. Servants from foul old Ron's conspiracy kidnapped him many years ago for a purpose unknown.
Are you sure they didn't steal it to add flavor to their boot soup? It sounds more likely.
Possibly. It's always so hard to be sure.
Right. Still, we got new murders to talk about.
What do you know about the murder of the patrician's clerk?
He wasn't killed. He's been smuggled out of Ankh-Morpork by a team of crack Ephebian ontological guerrillas.
Ontological guerrillas?
A vicious band of terrorist philosophers trying to spread their doctrine that our existence is purely an abstract experience mediated by a limited sensory experience, which cannot be relied upon to provide accurate perspectives or any true reality should one exist.
Sounds plausible.
So, they got to you too, did they?
So that's the same thing that you said before. I don't think
I'll have to go. The truth.
Try.
I don't think he's got anything new for us. Absent and all, can we beat him with a crowbar until he's more helpful? I mean, we could try.
I didn't want...
No, we never want to transform into a wolf. Is it something we can do around... Will we do it with Malaclips?
I didn't...
No. Yes, the only other area is here. I don't think we're gonna... Will you stop moving? I just want to... Luton.
I didn't... I have some more questions.
Ask them, if you must.
Did your church... What's the difference?
Church's appeal. Good. Now you're out. Not so...
Well, did you...
No. It was purchased. It depicts...
We've done the window stuff. I've done the window stuff before.
Do these bandages mean anything to you?
I prefer to involve myself with more spiritual matters.
I had a feeling that...
I don't think he's going to be much good.
I asked Mooncalf where he was when the murder took place, and he told me he was holding a sermon.
I honestly... The Temple of Small God seems absolutely fucking pointless. Like, we had that little clue of the, ooh, look at the stained glass window, look at stuff from behind. And they're just like two fucking dicks.
That's all.
Like, you know, we can go here and we can go into wolf form and we can smell things. Luton, stop fucking... You know, we got the magenta, which we know to be...
It was definitely the same scent.
So, we know our serial killer, okay, sort of came here and then...
This was...
Stands behind the window, but, like... No good, is it? You know, we can...
This was the...
And, like, we can get this. I don't think we can do that in wolf form, can we? Oh, yeah. Right, we can.
I could see that someone was on the other side of... I was confident.
But there's no smells. We're just looking at the same thing. Right, okay, cool. So we know that our killer hung around by this window. Hello, Gaspode. So, just go Gordon Freeman never until we get answers. Oh, it's tempting. It's tempting. Right. Who else can we have a word with? This gives us... Oh, fuck you. I knew this was going to happen. Yeah, I did it anyway. Yes, we've talked to Carlotta. She's available to us. I've had an idea.
I had plenty of better things to be doing instead of playing with rubble.
No, we probably haven't asked her about the bandages in the envelope.
Who would say?
I'd like to see Carlotta. Is she home?
I will go and announce your presence, and she will tell me if she is.
He walks so slowly.
You can't keep yourself...
I just...
Right. Well, let's... we got a new note, haven't we?
Do you know anything about...
No.
I know, we've asked about that, actually, because she said no.
I got a key from Reagan's body. It led me to this. It's empty.
It's empty.
Mean anything to you?
No, nothing.
Well, that was handy.
Do these bandages mean anything to you?
I'm sure you can think of something better to ask me, Luton.
Do you recognize this moss?
I'm sure you can think of something better to ask me, Luton.
There didn't seem much point discussing that with Carlotta.
Fine.
Tell me about this goddess, Errata.
I already told you, I don't like to talk about religion.
She's not like Om, then. He's the god of Omnia.
Is that the place with the Quisition? All the overzealous holy wars and tortures?
It used to be. They had some kind of reformation, and now they're just overzealous about singing rousing hymns and distributing fundamentalist pamphlets in the street.
Well, that's a kind of torture all of its own.
You're telling me. I got cornered by one of them last week. How do you think I know so much about it? It was 3 hours before I could get them to leave. Thumb screws would have been quicker, at least.
Right, why are your boobs so huge is an option. Overzealous wars and torches. Why are your bazunkas massive? Like, what else is there to talk to her about? None of the cases. So you're a werewolf.
Where were you when Reagan was killed?
When was he killed?
Shortly after...
Well...
Carlotta is a werewolf.
I'll be in touch.
I'll be waiting.
Fucking game. Doing my head in. There's no sense of reward. It's just toil. And then there's like... There's the moments when it's just like, Nobby's like, oh, yeah. Like, it could be a plastic surgeon, plaster surgeon thing. And it's just like, oh, that seems like something that should follow on. Like the whole Therma thing and the Sapphire thing. But, you know, where do we go? I mean, I suppose we go back to the carrot and we talk to Mankin again.
Is this a good time, given that the
closest thing we've had.
Do these mean anything to you?
Bandages?
They seem to have plaster caked into them.
No, I don't know anything about that.
Yes, you do.
And
you
we're back
are the
to the
most
same
useless
thing.
liar I've ever met.
It's nothing to do with me. That's a matter for the watch.
The watch? They're only bandages.
That's all I'm saying on the matter. I don't want no trouble. And they are trouble.
We haven't read the notice board in some time.
See you around.
Yeah, whatever.
So, like, that gave me a signpost to go to the watch. Nobby told me some stuff. But then, where does it go?
Wanted, bed maker and laundryman for Unseen University. $2 for each day survived. Contact Mrs. Foames at the new hall.
Oh! Well, there's something.
The story of the sortie. Wanted by the Watch in connection with the sale of genuine authentic soggy Mountain Dew. One CMOT Dibbler of no fixed...
There's a problem, see, is that you gave us the notice board early in the game, and it's just full of gags. And now we get the thing that's actually going to take us to... Hello, yes, you're adorable. I'm not sure you should have any more. You have ate so many dreamies today. Worse than me in kebabs. Anyway, we've got a new location. We've got an inn to the university. Right, where actually is it? Ah, the new hall. Right, you want CD2. Keep the people entertained, Orca. Now we get a new location.
Unseen University was positioned along a large stretch in the River Ankh, and its campus was convoluted enough that it was hard to tell where the university ended and the city began. It would be wrong to say that the people of the city respected the wizards of the university, and it would be wrong to say that they hated them. In fact, all you could really say was that both the citizens and the wizards were glad of the wall that stopped them from having to socialize on a daily basis.
Have you done a vom yet? Have you done a vom yet?
Mrs. Foames?
Yes, I am she. What do you want?
May I come in?
No, you may not.
I've come about the job.
Is that a fact? Very well, you may enter, but wipe your feet. I won't have the help messing up the carpets.
Orco ate a load of dreamies. Has he had a vom
Now,
yet?
you've come
In my
for the job,
shoes.
Mr...
Luton. And yes, I am interested in the job.
Well, as the head chambermaid, the decisions about hiring staff falls on my shoulders. Do you have any experience?
No, but I'm a fast learner.
Well, the pay is $2 a day. There are no perks. If you want it, it's yours.
Wow, there we go. A whole new person to talk all the things to.
Can you tell me about Unseen University?
It's not the business of help to discuss their employers.
Close the door. Were you born in a subway? Wow, is that the German version of that phrase? Because my parents, and I presume possibly Ray and Kira's and any other Brit in chat would have, were you born in a barn? Bed maker and laundryman. Okay. But let's go through in order. Yeah, born in a barn, right? I've come about the job, and do you know why a man named Mundy was hung upside down and killed?
Can you think of any reason that Mundy might have been hung upside down before he was killed?
Murders are hardly a suitable topic for polite conversation.
Right, she doesn't want to talk about murders, but we're going to do it anyway. I guess you were raised in a subway where the doors close automatically. Wow. See, born in a barn, I just think it's just because barn doors remain open. I like that, born in a subway. That's good. There's nothing on the Therma case. Why would you ask her about the Therma case? What about the von Uberwalds? We can ask about Reagan's murder.
Do you know anything about Reagan's murder?
Murders are hardly a suit.
No, don't talk about Carlotta.
I couldn't exactly What do you know about the goddess Errata?
I have better things to be doing than talking to you, you know.
Oh, no you don't. You're a character in a computer game. Nothing with Sapphire. Now, the sword we can get to from another angle. Do you know Ilsa and Two Conkers?
Do you know a woman named Ilsa or a man named Two Conkers?
Not anyone I know.
What about Carlotta?
What do you know about a woman named Carlotta?
Not anyone I know.
Do you know Alkali?
What do you know about a dwarf named Alkali?
Not anyone I know.
Yeah, but what do you know about voodoo?
What do you know about the murder of Mount Malachite?
Murders are hardly a suitable topic for polite conversation.
I forgot that we got Malachite's murder on the list of murders.
Do you know anything about some kind of beast stalking the streets?
I have better things to be doing than talking to you, you know.
She doesn't say anything, does she?
Do you know a troll by the name of Jasper Horst?
Not anyone I know.
Oh, this is a totally normal conversation to have when you sign up for a new job, huh? Right, let's,
Is it dangerous working here? Only I heard that one of the wizards was murdered.
Don't let that bother you, Mr. Luton. The affairs of the staff are not our concern.
You don't think I'm in any danger?
Goodness, no. The odd death is just the natural course of campus politics, I'm afraid. It's a shocking turn of affairs, but we mustn't question it. Dead men's pointy boots, and all that.
Oh, we got a note out of it. Okay.
Now, do you want the job or not?
Dead men's pointy boots.
I'll take the job. When do I start?
You can start now by making the beds. The dorm is through that door. I advise you to leave before the students get back.
Why?
Boys will be boys, Mr. Luton. And apprentice wizards are the worst kind of boys imaginable.
Okie coke. Yeah, but we've got more to talk to you about.
Have you heard about the recent murder of a rich merchant?
Murders are hardly a suitable...
Do you know anything about Cypher's murder?
Murders are...
Doesn't want to talk about murders, but at least we got some dead men's boots. Should probably ask.
Dead men's pointy boots?
Yes. No questions asked as to the manner of their emptying, if you know what I mean.
I see.
Right.
The jewel wasn't the...
Not talking about that, or the sword.
Didn't want to... This was clear.
Fine, we're not talking about the sword. Fine, we're taking the job. We're taking the job.
I guess I'd better get to work.
Very good.
I guess I better turn into a wolf.
Mrs. Foames could probably see me from there.
Fine.
The lair of the redoubtable Mrs. Foames, the head chambermaid. Mrs. Foames?
Well, what do you want? I haven't got time.
I guess I...
Indeed you should.
Yes, we should. Okay. Unstable unlocker. Beds. Rugged unlocker. Right, hang on. Now that we've walked down, can we turn into Wolf
The
yet?
dorm was full of the jangling scents of the students. But the most surprising thing was the octarine board. As a wolf, I smelt the words on the board. The chalk marks showed up as sparkling traces against the odorless board. It seemed to be a list of subjects the young apprentices were studying. Occult perils of lace-making, basic myth and monsters, principles of thaumic imponderability, and temples of the Great
Oh, the
Nev.
Great Neff again.
Under the list of subjects were the words, "You must read a chapter on each before the next lecture."
Okay.
The students had their very own unlockers to keep their possessions in. This locker seemed to wobble slightly. Unlike the other unlockers, this one seemed to be levitating a few inches above the ground.
Of course.
Probably one of the students' cantrips that hadn't worn off yet. As for the unlocker's contents, the less said about them, the better.
A rugged one.
This unlocker seemed rugged, if slightly beaten up. I searched the unlocker, but found nothing I wanted to think too hard about.
The disturbing aroma.
Even as a human, I could smell something very disturbing coming from this particular unlocker. Given the smell of the unlocker, I was grateful it was locked. This sturdy-looking unlocker seemed in better condition than the others. The only interesting thing I could find in the unlocker was some books.
So steal the books.
I guess the rumors about the students weren't true. They did do some studying. What have we got? Occult primer, monster fun grimoire, Fulamyth, the theory of thaumic imponderability, lost temples of the Great Nev.
Right, yeah, all the things we would want.
What occult the lost?
Okay, so what's this about? What is this about?
There was nothing. This sturdy. I didn't want to put.
We can open a locker and read some books.
The only.
Or read the titles of some books.
What have we
And he does
got?
a
Occult primer, monster fun grimoire, Fulamyth, the theory of thaumic imponderability, lost temples of the Great Nev.
They all seem to tie up with what was on the chalkboard.
For a brief moment, I considered actually making the beds. Fortunately, good sense prevailed.
We're not Nancy during this then.
The octarine board appeared blank to my eyes, but I had a feeling there was something written on it I couldn't see. A few sticks of chalk, a type of chalk made from octarine carbonate, were resting on the top of the board. I tried to write on the octarine board with the chalk, but I couldn't see what I was writing. The chalk marks were invisible to my eyes.
Okay. Okay. So, if I wanted a specific book for a reason, then I could write on the chalkboard that a certain topic should be researched, and then this nerdy student, who's probably Ponder Stibbons, will then get the book that I need. I think that's the puzzle. Right? That's what's being signposted here. Look at all these books. But all I'll do is look at the books, and all the books relate to the things we saw that were mentioned on the chalkboard. So, But now that's the shape of a puzzle without actually needing the puzzle. Like, I do not have a requirement for a certain book yet. We'll see what happens.
Not in front of the
Right, okay, so the porter's about somewhere. Is this just a liminal space? Can I use my note about the monster on the books, maybe? Okay. Oh, right. Okay, yeah. I know what you mean. So, under the more contacts and suspects, the bestial attacker.
I flipped through the Monster Fun grimoire and full of myth, but there was nothing resembling the bestial attacker in either.
Okay. I like you thinking, though, Rick.
Clark's Gable had told me that whatever he wasn't clear.
Right, yes.
There was nothing in any of the books about that.
Oh, come on. I was hoping there might be, at least it would go like werewolf.
Horst had spoken. There was nothing.
Okay.
There was nothing in any of the books about that. There was nothing. When I mentioned.
Right. Errata, probably not. I mean,
There weren't
any books about gods. That's fine. There's nothing else in my notes that's going to be of any help. Why might someone be hung upside down and killed?
There was nothing in.
Okay. Right. Oh yeah, there's the porter.
The burly porter had inflexible written all over him in large ironclad letters.
What are you doing here?
The name's Luton. I'm working for Mrs. Foames.
You're the new bed maker, eh? Well, you can't come any further than this, Luton. Wizards only in the library, ain't you?
Wizards only?
Well, wizards, apprentices, and orangutans.
Are you a porter?
No, I'm a bledlow. And there's a difference, all right?
Well, let's try some cheery repartee.
What's a bledlow?
What's a bledlow with you?
Look after the students.
Look after them?
Just like the watch looks after the city.
You throw your weight around and beat them senseless when they do something wrong?
That's about the size of it, yeah. You don't mess with the lobsters.
Lobsters?
Just a nickname we've picked up over the years.
Why?
If you see us get our hands on a student, you'll understand.
You make it sound like you're hunting them down.
No.
Of course. All students are guilty of everything.
Cables are not toys, Orko. Even when you sit on them. No, it's not a toy. If you want a toy, somehow, for a cat who's nearly 9 years old, you still find your tail fascinating.
Where are all the students?
They're off playing Unseen University Challenge against the students from the Assassin's Guild.
What does that involve?
I don't know. given the way most sports are conducted round here, it probably involves a very careful inspection of half the pubs in Ankh-Morpork.
What makes you say that?
Heard of the City and Guilds?
No.
When the guilds started setting up their own colleges, there was a lot of rivalry between the various students.
Rivalry?
Well, the university students used to be ambushed by gangs from the guilds, really.
Used to be?
Well, given the faculty's relaxed attitude to sudden death, most of the staff preferred dead students on account of them being easier to teach. But I gather the guilds decided that enough was enough because all the bodies around the place made it very hard to open doors.
So what did they do?
They founded the City and Guilds match. I think the idea was to carry a football right from the outskirts of the Shades to the Tower of Art, goals being scored by kicking the ball through the door of certain landmarks.
What sort of landmarks?
The sort with names like the Mended Drum and the Bunch of Grapes. The scoring team was bought drinks by the other teams, you see. And after a few years, the Arch-Chancellor ruled that only one goal could be scored in each pub since the match had, for 3 years running, had gone on for a month.
What's this got to do with Unseen University Challenge?
Well, the university tends to leave the City and Guilds match to the guilds. They prefer a more cerebral challenge.
Such as going straight to the pub, not passing go, and not bothering to come back.
That'd be my guess, yes.
I like
so
that
they're
rule.
not coming back.
Well, they'll be back. They need to come to the library to get their course books.
Right, there we go. Let's ask him about all the nonsense things in all our case books. Right, what shall we start with?
What do you know about a woman named Carlotta?
No one I've heard of.
Nope, fine.
Do you know a woman named Ilsa or a man named Two Conkers?
No one I've heard of.
It's going to be quite quick, isn't it?
What do you...
No one I've heard of.
No one I've heard.
Yeah, fine. What are you doing, Orko? You are a pest. You think students manage to eventually start retaliating, probably across 3 city blocks around their target. Yeah. But, well, you know. Murders. Tell me about murders.
Can you think of any reason that Mundy might have been hung upside...
Who the hell's Mundy?
It's not my place.
Yeah, waiting for someone to redream. You've had far too many dreamies.
Do you know anything...
He doesn't want to talk murders. So there's no point talking Malachites. I think he'll only talk specific murders, right?
I hear the reader of esoteric occultism was murdered.
Yep. Old Mason was so full of poison, even the worms wouldn't touch him.
He was poisoned?
That's right. Right here in the Widdershins wing of the university.
You don't sound concerned.
I just keep an eye on the students. The wizards can do what they like to each other.
Oh, we got a new note. Ah. Okay.
Have you heard the expression, dead men's pointy boots?
Of course.
What does it mean?
Well, towards the upper levels of magic, where the number of positions get few and far between, wizards advance primarily by the untimely death of their bosses.
And the pointy boots?
Well, the point is, no questions are asked as to the emptying of those pointy boots.
Okay, Coke. Do you know anything about errata?
What do you know about the goddess Errata?
I'm just a Bledlow Luton. No, I don't know anything about that.
Despite evidence that the country's never been fed. I'm sorry, we have video evidence, Orko, of you eating all the biscuits. Yes, big yawn. Why don't you go and have a nap? What are we?
I didn't want to this was...
No, what about the jewel?
The jewel.
No.
The jewel.
Fine. What about bestial attacker?
Do you know anything about some kind of beast stalking the streets?
No, I don't know anything about that.
He's rubbish, isn't he? No point.
Do you know a troll by the name of Jasper Horst?
No one I've heard of.
Right, I think we're probably done with the porter here.
Well, I'd better leave you to it. I tried to head down to the...
Yes, we're not
Wizards
going...
only in the library. Thank you.
Wizards only in the library. Right, I don't know what that is, but we're not allowed there. Right. Now, if only we needed a book. What was the new thing we got? Oh yeah, that was it.
Mrs. Folmes?
Well, what do you want? I haven't got time to waste talking to you, you know.
We could try some botany, couldn't we? Hang on.
The wizard was poisoned, I hear.
I think you could use a little less gossip and a lot more work, Mr. Luton.
I guess I'd better...
Very good.
Right, well, let's give it a try.
I resisted the urge to wipe the board clean with that. It was hardly the ideal tool for the job. I resist it.
Right. I could try acquiring some specialist knowledge in botany, but no, apparently not. So there. Well, you know what we're going to do? Looking at the time, we're going to give this a save. And then we're going to wrap this one up for today. Take ourselves back to our good friend, the Windows XP desktop. And get ourselves just a lovely Windows XP shutdown sound there. Alright, let's get back to full cam. Alright, folks, that was a time. I mean, progressions are happening, but I don't feel like I'm getting the dopamine hit of it all. You can read the Bournemouth form, can you write? Well, try and remember that one for Friday. Too late. Too late. It's too late, baby, now it's too late. But that's fine. It is starting to... Oh, it's great. It is grating, this game. It is great. But we're sticking through. Not giving up on it yet. There have been very few games we've actually given up on. We'll come back to Shivers one day. I'll start drawing maps. Right, okay, I don't need this in. Yeah, the signposting is just fucking weird. It's still not Simon bad yet, no. And again, just Simon was just annoying because it's just like, oh, let's go through a bunch of liminal spaces. Right, anyway, who's a boots for a raid? We could go back to Ollie because they're still doing that bending the ink thing. We could go see Emmy, who might still be going on for a bit longer. Let's just go see Emmy. I'm sure they're going on. Right, Orko, you are in the way. You're still in the way. You're in the way. Am the old. Yeah, it's always that weird thing, because like Emmy starts about the same time as me, and I'm like, are they still going to carry on for much longer? Well, we'll find out. Not that mouse, this mouse. There's a raid message. Thank you very much, Ray. You're a fucking legend. And thanks for hanging out, folks. Lovely to spend time with you, as always, even if this game is really getting frustrating now. This mouse. Wrong mouse. But yeah, it's always lovely to spend time with you on a Saturday afternoon and a Saturday evening. I'm going to order some filthy takeaway now, but not before we leave you in the very capable hands of Ms. Emmy Mux. We'll check. We'll check if they're a Miseramux in a sec. But yes, the wonderful Emmy the Odd. We do love them. Cozy times for Stardew Valley. So yeah, we'll be back then Friday for more of this. And probably Riven on Saturday afternoon. Probably Riven. We'll see. Anyway, who cares? Let's go and see Emmy the Odd. And you lot be good. Mwah.